Hey everybody, it's Shamika. Really quickly, I wanted to address something, a question that was asked about the last video that I did. And it was like, okay, well, if we kind of let go of, this person in this way and we just allow the journey to be what it is, what next? Okay, that's a common question. I totally understand the question, but then it's kind of like the question is the problem sort of thing. Because it's like this. When it comes to these connections, this is the part that is the hardest for people. Is understanding that it only happens in its divine timing. Okay? So what next is still in a place of resistance to that divine timing. Because, when we say that, what we're really saying is, we're still like having this fear of things not coming together the way we want them to be. And not only that, we are letting go with ulterior motives, okay, which is not pure. It's like you're not going to trick the universe. You know what I mean? You're a lot of times when you're in that space, you're letting go in order to accomplish something. And it doesn't work like that. Like it's not going to, you don't let go in order to accomplish it. Not in that mindset. Even though when you do let it go with pure intentions, from a pure place, without, some type of motive, like you're letting go in order to obtain something. You're letting go in order to love yourself. And that's it. That's it. You're letting go in order to trust the universe or trust God, trust the divine timing. So it's like you really have to surrender from a deep place of surrender. It can't be in order to accomplish something else. Because what happens next, okay, what's going to happen next when you stop chasing the person and you chase yourself like you used to chase them? If you want yourself like you used to want them, it brings them back to you. Because if this is a soul connection, you're connected to this person. So it's kind of like the way you're attracted to you, they're attracted to you. So you really want to make it about you first. So that whole ideology is quite different from what we're used to in relationships, because in relationships it's like always about this other person first. But in soul connections, it's always about you first. And then it's like them putting themselves first. And so it's kind of like when the both of you put yourselves first, it drives you into each other. Okay? But I'm saying that so you kind of know, like, yes, what's going to ultimately happen is in the right timing, the union is going to happen. It's not going to happen if you have not let it go. Okay? Or you're still chasing the person and not focusing on yourself at all. In that case, what you can know for sure is that the union is not going to occur. What you don't know when you focus on yourself and you start chasing yourself, you do know that the union is going to occur, but you don't get to know when. And the key is to stop caring when. Why does it matter? Why does it matter? A soul connection is someone that you're always going to be connected to. It's like accepting and understanding it as a connection, not so much as a relationship, because that's where a lot of people get kind of confused, and where like a lot of problems start to come in at, is when you're trying to make the soul connection a relationship. Let it be the connection that it is, because when you do that and you allow yourself to feel the connection, you're allowing it to be what it is, and you're allowing divine timing to take place, which is what you want. You want things to be coming about the way that they're supposed to. You don't want to be hindering it. Because like when you're waiting on them or chasing them, you're hindering it. Nothing's happening. There's not movement being made towards the union, even though you may think that it is. It's not. And this is the thing about connection. It's different from relationships. Because I get a lot of people that are saying like, oh, my twin flame is with somebody else. And, you know, they're making that an excuse to not love. It's a soul connection. The truth of the matter is you can't stop loving them if you try. So who are you hurting? You're hurting yourself because you're restricting the love that's within you because you're basing it on all these conditions, which is the very point of these soul connections, to break you out of these types of mentalities, because that is not real love. In this society, what we tend to think of as love is nothing more than codependency. You know, if you listen to the radio, most of these love songs, they're completely codependent relationships. You know, where one is dependent on the other for this need. And in soul connections, these connections exist to bring you to a place of wholeness within yourself, oneness within yourself, so that you can experience the depth and the absolute magnificence of oneness with someone else. You are not meant to, you know, as it pertains to your soul connection, you are not meant to be two halves becoming a whole. You're meant to be two wholes becoming one. Okay? So that's something that's really important for you to think about. I guess that just about, sums up what I was, thinking when it came to the questions that I had, that people were asking me. So, I mean, you guys can comment if you have other questions, and I'll try to answer them, and, share more light and clarity. But these connections are meant to be bigger than relationships. So you really have to break down some of these things within yourself and understand that connection is. If they're with someone else, why does it matter? You're still connected. Why do you need an excuse to love or an excuse not to love? Now, this is the difference. You can love someone and not be with them. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I don't want people thinking I'm saying you tolerate any and every form of abuse because you love them. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. You don't have to tolerate or even be in a situation where it's just toxic for you. Okay? By all means. But what I'm saying is, if it's truly a soul connection, whatever they're doing, it's not going to stop the love. I mean, they could be somewhere strung out on drugs. You're going to still feel the same way about them. There's nothing they can do that is going to make you feel differently about them. So the thing is, for you to make peace within yourself with this connection and stop some of the inner turmoil, you have to accept the connection for what it is, that it will always be there. The fighting that you're doing against the connection, you're only hurting yourself. Because the pain that you feel a lot of the times that you are attributing to the person you're connected to, it's actually pain that you're inflicting upon yourself because your heart feels one way and you are stifling that feeling and you are restricting that feeling and you won't allow the love that you really feel to flow through you. That is the most painful thing. And then you'll point fingers at them like, oh, you're hurting me, and you're hurting yourself. It actually feels better, okay? When you have a soul connection, it feels better to let that love flow from your heart, no matter who they're with and where they're at, whether they chose you or not, to just let that love flow and live your life. See, that's the balance that you need, because it's like people think that if they go on and live their life, then they have to restrict the love flow. That's what's causing the pain. Don't restrict the love. You don't need permission to love. And just because they're with somebody else or you're with somebody else dies, or that the love changes, no. You can't help that. So don't get into that. There will always be love going, flowing towards them and them towards you and back and forth. But they are free to make whatever decisions they're making. And if that's what makes them happy, fine. Be happy because you can. You can. And so one of the key things about connection also is just understanding that the connection always remains. It's going to be what it is. It's going to be what it is. So just allow it. Allow it to be what it is. And that means following your heart in every moment. Because within the connection also, there's not every moment there's going to be times where the connection will kind of draw you in a way where you're kind of, feeling this overflow of love, either coming from them or towards them. Allow that. There's nothing wrong with that. Love is good. And when you have that, you're able to give more of that in your world around you. So that's fine. But then there's going to be moments where in the connection, you feel first. Like it's about you. You're not feeling that right now. You just flow with the energy. Flow with the energy. The more you don't restrict yourself, the better. The better. And you may very well not choose to be involved in a situation with your twin. You may very well choose to not deal with them while they're still choosing somebody else. That makes sense. But don't restrict the love because of it. Because you can't do that anyway. Now you're just hurting yourself, and it's starting you to you're getting confused. You know what I mean? It's so much inner turmoil that, you can go a little cuckoo, and it's all because you're against yourself. You're fighting the way you feel. No need to do that. Love is pure. Love does not have to be in a romantic relationship at all times in order for it to be love. The entire purpose of Soul Connections is to get you to a new place, a new level of understanding when it comes to relationships and love, period. You're learning a higher standard of love. So how can it be a higher standard if you're going to keep trying to bring it down to the standard that already exists? Don't try to bring love down into the standard that already exists. Rise up into the new standard that you're being called to. Go higher. So I hope that answers that question for you guys. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.